Welcome everyone to Yoga Basics. Today you will need your strap, grab a block, and have your chair. All right, so getting comfortable on the mat, organized here, and just taking a few moments to relax the body, preparing for our practice by closing the eyes and turning the attention inward. Just taking a moment to notice how your body feels. Shutting out all the busyness and chaos of the day. And then we'll take 2 deep cleansing breaths. So take a nice big inhale through the nose and exhale it all out by blowing or sighing it out. And one more nice big inhale. And exhale it all out. Then soften the muscles of the face. Relax the muscles of the neck and the shoulders. And then turn the attention to the breath. Notice the inhale. And notice the exhale. Then we'll begin nice, even breathing. Inhaling and exhaling to a count of 4. So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. And just continue with this nice, even breathing. And then we also set an intention for each practice to help remind us why we are here. So that may be a benefit you would like to receive, or just an uplifting or a positive thought or phrase. So think of an intention that you'd like to have for your practice today. And then with your next inhale, go ahead and lift your head and open your eyes. If you do have your legs folded and you want to switch that top leg, go ahead and do that. So the next warm-up series, or the next thing we're going to do, is a little warm-up series that I try to do most days of the week. Whether it's in the morning or even in the late afternoon, just something to keep some flexibility, some stretching in my schedule. So we'll go through it. So if you need to come back to it to kind of learn what those are, it'll probably take about 15 minutes. So it's not very long. Some days you don't have time for a whole hour of practice. If you just do these stretches, I think you'll notice a big difference. So we'll start by turning the head. I usually try to, like we always do, warm up the joints first. Turn and look to the right. Come back to center. Turn and look to the left. And back to center. Drop the chin to the chest. And then pick the chin up towards the ceiling and jut that lower jaw out. And coming back to center. And drop the right ear to the right shoulder. And back to center, and left ear to left shoulder. And feel free when you do it on your own, obviously, to hold these stretches for as long as you feel you need to. All right, open and close the fingers. And circle the wrist. And reverse. Good. Bringing the hands back to the lap, and then doing some shrugs. And then picking the shoulders up and rolling them to the back. Good. Bringing the shoulders back down, taking the right hand, bringing it to the outside of the right hip. Inhale, sweep the left arm up, and then exhale, little side bend to the right. And coming back to center, switch hands, inhale and exhale, bending to the left. Coming back to center, take that left hand, place it on the right knee as we come into a nice easy twist. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bring the right hand around behind you as you turn and look to the right. Good. Exhale back to center, switch hands. Inhale to lengthen and exhale, turn and look to the left. Good. And then exhale back to center. Go ahead and extend those legs. Again, if you did have them folded, just shake them out a little bit. And then holding on to the back of that right thigh, pull that knee in and extend it out. And then hold that knee in, point and flex the foot. And circles. And reverse. Good. And then try it on the other side. Bend and extend. Hold it there, point and flex. And circles. And reverse. Good. All right, we're going to come on to hands and knees for cat-cow. So making sure the wrists are under the shoulders, knees stacked under the hips. And with the inhale, lift the chest and the sits bones. And exhale, then rounding the spine for cat. Drop the chin. Inhale, back to cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Good. And once more, inhale. And exhale. And then bringing the spine back to neutral and coming into child's pose. Supporting the head. And just take, like 2 breaths here. And then extending the arms, coming back up to hands and knees. And remember, you could stay in puppy pose here on your knees, or coming into downward facing dog. And again, we're just warming up the hamstrings. So keeping a bend in the knees. I usually do that walk the dog, just to start stretching. The important thing is pressing into those hands, though, and extending through the arms. Good. And then exhale, bring your knees back down to the mat. Sweep your legs to the side. Extend your legs out in front of you. Have your strap nearby. And then we're going to lower ourselves down onto the mat. Or onto our backs, rather. All right. So the first stretch we're going to do is for the quads. I'll show you what I normally do. You're also welcome to do the other option that I'll show you. So here's where that knee flexion is really going to come in. We've done this before. This is called a half Savasana. So it's a quad stretch. So I usually come to it on my back. I know that that's pretty severe. It is more intermediate. If that's too much, we've done it before on your side, and then you hold onto your knee there. So depending on the flexibility in your knee, and it's really here in the psoas, the top of the quad and into the psoas. So I usually stretch here, and I also then extend my arms. Now, if you're on your side, just hold on to your knee there. Again, you're getting a great stretch there. And breathe. Good. And then release. Same thing on the other side. You can roll on your side. Bend that knee. Get your balance. And then hold here. Or with that knee bent, this is going to be more intense, but laying on your back. And again, feeling that stretch here, and then I usually just extend here. Similar to the windshield wiper that we do. Again, getting that nice stretch in that quad and psoas, only it's just a little more intense. And keep breathing. And I usually hold this at least 15 seconds, probably about 20. All right, release that left leg. Now, we're going to come into a pretty deep hip opener. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. If you decide that's not going to work for you, then what you can do is our reclined pigeon. We've done this many times, where you pull this in and you're going to feel that stretch in the hip. Otherwise, what this is called a half lotus. So what you're going to do is you're going to bend the right knee, and you want to grab onto your right ankle. Now, here's where you're really going to pay attention to how your body feels. See if you can pull that right ankle up, or your right heel towards your pubic bone. Only go as far, as anatomically you can. There shouldn't be any pain or discomfort. If this is too much, go to reclined pigeon. Now, I'm going to hold this stretch here, just for a couple of seconds. Then with my left hand, I'm going to hold on to that right ankle, and I'm slowly going to begin to drop my right knee down to the floor. I'm still holding my right foot up towards my pubic bone. So I'm holding on to my right foot with my left hand. And then I'm just going to do this slow little pulsing. And this is working that hip joint. and just really getting all that tension out, stretching, bringing some, it's really more bringing the circulation there. And then I usually stop and then I deepen the stretch. I push my knee down towards the floor as much as I can. All right, release. Try it on the other side. So I'm going to grab my left foot, bring it up, my left heel towards the pubic bone as much as I can. You might be above it, and then you up towards your navel. Hold there. And then holding on to that left foot with your right hand, slowly lower that left knee down towards the floor. And then just doing a little up and down movement here. Just again, bringing some blood flow into the joint. And then pausing, and I'm pressing that thigh down towards the floor as much as I can. Otherwise, you're in reclined pigeon, just crossing your foot over your thigh. Good. All right, release that left leg. Now, we're going to come into a hamstring stretch. So bend the right knee, pull that knee in towards your chest, and just hug it in. Good. And then grab your strap. Place that across the ball of the foot and extend. Now, let's say you're in a different part of your house, or you're, I don't know, somewhere else that you don't have a strap. You don't have to use a strap. You can just place your hands behind the thigh and extend the leg. Think of pushing your heel up towards the ceiling. You're still going to get a nice stretch in the hamstring. If you happen to have your strap nearby, it's just going to be a little bit deeper stretch. Good. Again, pressing that thigh away from you, pulling the shoulders down. Good. And then switch legs. So start by hugging that knee in. Good. And then putting the strap over the ball of the foot and extending that. And again, we're, obviously under a time crunch here, but you hold these stretches for as long as it feels good. All right, go ahead and release. And then I usually end by a twist. So we'll come into that bent knee twist. So bending the knees. Remember, you're going to shift the hips over. We'll shift them. Let's shift them to the left. Pick the feet up. Stack the knees, drop the knees over to the right, and then just kind of relax into that twist. Good. Come back to center. Place your feet on the floor. Shift the hips over to the right. Drop those knees to the left. And then you can look out over that right shoulder. Good. And then coming back to center, place those feet down. And then if you want to end right here, if that's all the time that you have for the day, that took 15 minutes. So you have stretched, you've warmed up all your joints, you've stretched all your major muscles, of the lower body by adding kind of an overhead stretch. You've worked that too. If you did that most days of the week, I think you would notice a huge improvement. Sometimes if I have a little more time, then I add these next two. I can, continue on, and that is a bridge since I'm already on my back. So we'll go ahead and bend the knees, bring those heels in towards your sits bones. Good, and then with the inhale, press into those feet. Imagine you're trying to push your feet down the mat. You'll feel those hamstrings contract. Good. And breathe. Good, and then with your exhale, go ahead and lower those hips down. Roll onto your side. Push yourself up into a seated position. And we're going to come into another stretch. So this one, we'll leave the left leg extended. Bend your right knee, slide it in towards you. Take a nice big inhale. With the exhale, those lower left ribs will begin to turn to the right. You can hug that knee in with the left arm. Bring your right hand around behind you as you turn and look to the right. Good, and then exhale back to center. Switch sides. Pull that left knee in. Good. Inhale to lengthen. Keep that spine straight as you turn. Look to the left. Just hug that left knee in towards the center with that right arm. Good. And then go ahead and release. And then from here, we're going to come back into hands and knees. And we're going to come into a low lunge, and then we're going to add the twist. So shift the weight to the left. You're going to step your right foot forward. You can always pick that heel up and bring it forward. Good. And then you want to shift your hips a little bit forward. So make sure that that right foot is forward a little bit so that your knee doesn't go past your toes. And we'll just take a nice stretch here by dropping the hips down so you can see how my hips are in front of my left knee. Getting a good stretch. Good. All right. So now we're going to come into our twist. So bring that right foot back just a little bit. Bring the torso up, curl the back toes. That'll also help give you a little bit of stability. So take that left arm, inhale, bring it up. With your exhale, begin to turn to the right. Bring that left upper arm to the outside of the right elbow. Then bring your right hand, bring it to meet the left. Good. Try to keep the torso lifted. You're welcome to stay here or press into that right foot. Extend the left leg. Good. Continue to breathe. Good. And then lower that left knee down. Or release if you kept the knee down. We'll go on the other side. I'm going to turn around so you can see me. All right. So shift the weight to the right. Step that left foot forward. So you're going to walk your left foot forward a little bit. So when you drop the hips down, your knee doesn't go past your toes. So you get that nice stretch. Same type of stretch that we just did, only hitting a little more into the psoas that we did on the mat. And we bent your knee and held on to your shin or ankle. Good. Then come back up. Slide that left foot back just a little bit. We'll come into the twist. Curl your toes of the left foot. All right. Then we'll take that left arm in. Did I screw that up? In right arm. Right arm. Inhale and then exhale because we're turning to the left. Press the back of the right arm into the left knee. Press those hands together. Hold it here. Or straighten the right knee. Press your palms together. That will help to keep the torso lifted so you're not collapsed down on that front thigh. Good. Keep breathing. Good. And then exhale. Bring that right knee down. And then we'll come up to standing. So just step that right foot forward. All right. Get a breath. So now standing, we're going to start in a wide leg forward fold. You can use the chair, or if you're a little more flexible, possibly your block. I did say one block, but if you have two blocks, you can use one block if you only have one, but hold on, let me grab my other block. Sorry about that. I'll also have the blocks here to show you that. If you do use your chair, put the chair on the long side of the mat with the seat facing you. And then you're going to come into your wide stance either way. If you're using blocks, then your blocks will be in front of you, again on that long side of the mat. Turn your toes in a little bit. Hands are on the hips. Take a nice big inhale. With your exhale, begin to fold forward, keeping that back straight. Now, if you have the chair, you're going to bring your hands to the chair, and you're going to stop when you start to feel your back round. Maybe it's here. See if you can come down to here. Now, you've probably pushed the weight back in the hips. Try to keep the hips in line with your feet the best that you can. So rest here if you're using the chair. If you're maybe a little more flexible, use your blocks, again, whichever height. Or maybe bring your hands to the mat and just rest your head down. Good. And just take a few breaths. Good. And then to come out of the pose, again, if you're using the chair, just come up to 90 degrees. I'm going to walk my feet in a little bit here. Place those hands to the hips. With an inhale, lift the torso. All right. So go ahead and walk those feet in or step them in. And then take your chair, place it on your mat. So you're going to use it now for balance. All right, let me, actually I'm going to turn this way. All right, let's come around the right side of the mat. So I'm going to show you, do you remember down in the mat, we did that where we pulled our heel up? We're going to do that standing. So we're going to do a standing half lotus. If that didn't work for you, it's too much of an external rotation. then I want you to just do tree pose, okay? So you're just gonna hold tree while I explain half lotus, if somebody would like to try that. All right, you can use your chair certainly for support. So shift the weight into your left leg. You're going to, and again, just come into tree. We've done that a million times. I know you know how to do that. I'm just going to give the instruction for half lotus. All right, bend the right knee. You're going to, just like we did, bring that heel up as close to the pubic bone as you can. I got to get my balance here. Find your gazing point, and then you're going to rotate that knee down. Hold on to your foot. You know, actually, probably the chair should be on your other side. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? I usually tuck my hand, like my right hand, around behind my back and hold on to my left upper arm. Good. Maybe I'll do this. I'm going to come off the mat, actually. The mat is actually harder to stand on because you've got that that soft surface. So sometimes coming onto a harder surface gives you better balance. Good. All right. Go ahead and release your right leg, whether you were in tree or half lotus. Leave the chair on this side if you were doing half lotus. If not, come around the chair for tree. All right, let's put the weight in the right leg. And again, I'm only going to tell you about lotus, but we're going to lift that right heel. I'm holding on to the top of my right foot with my left hand as I drop that left knee down. Good. Did I just say right hand to the left foot? Hopefully I did. Now, you can keep your hand on the chair here, that left hand, or I'm back on the mat, but good. Find your gazing point. Continue to breathe. If you're not doing half lotus, then just come into tree pose. Good. And then go ahead and release. Walk it out. All right. Go ahead and put your chair back to that long end of the mat, the seat facing you. Grab your blanket and put that just probably about 2 feet in front of the chair. And you're going to put your heels, look, you see this, your heels on the blanket and widen your legs. So we're going to come down on the mat. This is one of my favorite poses, Savasana or Garland Pose. Again, it's a deep squat. You can use the chair to help you come into the squat. If this is going to be too severe again for the knees, just go as deep as you can, or just eliminate it. Come down on the mat. We'll meet you there in a second. All right. Take an inhale. With the exhale, you're going to bend those knees out. Now, if maybe this is as far as you can come, use the chair, hold on to it. That's okay. You're working those muscles. Stay here. If you're okay and you can come all the way down, I forgot to tell you, you can also grab a block, put that under your hips, and then pause here. Again, bring the hands to the heart. Press the upper arms to the inside of the thighs. Good. Continue to breathe. The block makes a huge difference. I may start with the block and then take it away just to kind of work those muscles a little bit. And then to come out of the pose, just put your hand one in front, one in back, and just lower yourself back down. All right, let me get the chair out of the way here. So we're going to come into plank. Also, I would add a plank to my warm up again. As I have time, then I would add more stretching or throw in things like a plank or a bird dog to work my core. All right, so coming either on the forearms or on the hands, which is called a yogic plank. I'm going to stay on my hands. You're welcome to come down here. Again, you can just lift the hips or lift the hips and the knees. All right, we've got 30 seconds. Again, if you're doing this at home, I would challenge yourself to just hold it as long as you can. The key to the plank is tightening those abdominals. Good. All right. Deep breathing. Good. About 5 more seconds. Good. Now, you can, if you're on your hands, you can bring your knees down or chaturanga, lower yourself down. Otherwise, if you're on your forearms, go ahead and lower yourself down so that your belly's on the mat. And you're going to bring your hands so that they're a little bit in front of your shoulders. I'm going to move up a little bit here. All right, so we're going to come into upward facing dog. It's similar to cobra, except we're going to lift more of the chest and possibly the thighs. All right, so just looking down at the mat, you want to lengthen through the legs. So reach through the big toe, rotate the thigh inward, then pull the tailbone down the back towards the heels, or down just towards the heels, not down the back. Good. You'll press your pubic bone into the mat. Then with the inhale, you're going to press into your hands, lift your chest, and then press into the top of your feet. I just got a cramp in my calf. So let me reposition myself. Otherwise, keep your knees on the mat and lift the chest. There we go. Good. And look up. Keep the chest lifted. Now, come back down, rest it out. We're going to try that one more time. In cobra, we usually keep a bend in the elbows. You're certainly welcome to do that. Stay here. Up dog, your hands are a little farther forward so that you can straighten the arms. All right. Here we go. Inhale, if you can, press into those hands, press into the top of the feet, lift the thighs. And then if you drop the hips a little bit, you are looking up. Good. Bring those knees down, lower yourself down, bring the hands alongside the body and turn your head. Just let your cheek rest on the mat. And then sliding your hands under the shoulders, curl your toes, push yourself back up into hands and knees, and then sweep the legs again to the side so you can come into a seated position. Extend the legs. And we'll come into another twist. This one, this way, and you can sit up either on your blanket or your block. All right. So you can either leave the right leg extended like this, or bend the right knee, and you're going to take your right foot underneath your left leg. Bring it to the outside of the left hip. Keep those hips facing forward. So again, either that leg is straight or it's tucked. Pick up the left foot and take it to the outside of the right knee. Or my knee is facing straight, my leg is straight. Like this, right? Those are your options. Keep the weight distributed between the two sits bones. We're going to be turning to the left. So inhale to lengthen. Again, those right lower ribs turn first. Wrap that right arm around that left knee. Hug it in towards you. Bring the left hand around behind you. Or if you can get your right shoulder in front of the left knee, then you can bring the back of the right upper arm to the outside of the left knee. And breathe. Good, and then release the twist. So let's try it on the other side. Try this on your block too, you'll notice a big difference. Again, so the left leg can be straight, or you're going to pick up that left foot, bring it to the outside of the right hip. Right foot you pick up, put on the outside of the left knee. Inhale to lengthen, we're turning to the right. You're gonna hug that right knee in towards your chest with that left hand, or you're going to bring it to the outside, that upper arm of the leg. And you can experiment a little bit with that right foot, maybe moving it forward a little bit. Will create space for you to turn a little easier. The key is really keeping the back straight. So wherever you need to be. You can hug that in here and turn. Good. And then release back to center. The last pose we're going to do is pigeon pose. If you want to go ahead and lay on your back, I know we did it in the warm-up, but we'll end with that. So you can do reclined pigeon, which is bending both knees, crossing your foot over the bent thigh. Or I'm going to do the full pose on the mat. I usually use my blanket to come under my hip. So whatever you decide to do. If you want to do reclined, go ahead and lower yourself onto your back. And have what you need for Savasana nearby also. Otherwise, I'll show you how to do it here on the mat. All right, so you're going to come into hands and knees. Shift the weight to the left. So you're going to pick up that right leg, and I'm going to bring my right foot forward so it's in front of my left knee, and I'm going to angle it so that my foot is towards my left wrist. Then I'm going to place the shin and the right knee down, and then I'm going to extend my left leg back. Here's where the blanket comes in handy. I just tuck a corner of it under that right hip so I can bring the weight back to the right, keep the weight distributed on my hips. Now, I usually like to do a sleeping pigeon, they call it, forward fold. Just resting my forehead on my hands or on my fists. And just taking a few breaths. And then lifting the torso. The easiest way to come out is to roll onto your left hip and just extend that right leg. Now, I'm going to turn around so you can see me, but you would just roll back on 2 hands and knees. In the blanket here. All right, so once you're back in hands and knees, now you're going to take that left foot. Again, I'm going to bring it up, as you can see, towards my right wrist. Then I'm going to lay the shin and the knee down and then extend that right leg behind me. And then as I come down, I'll just slide my blanket under this left hip so I can shift the weight back. And then just recline here. Again, if you're on your back, switch legs, cross your left foot over your right thigh. Pick up the right foot and hug those legs in as much as you can. And then go ahead, if you're in pigeon like I am, just remove your blanket. And again, kind of roll over and release that left leg. And then go ahead and come onto your back for Savasana. Stay seated. So laying on your back, sending those legs out in front of you. And I love Savasana. I love to roll something. I actually have a bolster. I put that under my knees. I have a blanket under my heels. I have a blanket under my head. I mean, try to make yourself, when you're doing this on your own, as comfortable as possible. And as you lay, turn those palms up. That will help to open the chest. And then closing the eyes. We turn the attention back to the breath. Again, notice the inhale. Notice the exhale. Next inhale, let the abdomen rise first. Then the chest. Pulling the lungs all the way up to the collarbones. With your exhale, let the collarbones fall first. Then the chest. Then the abdomen. Drawing the navel to the spine. Just take a few of these breaths. Physical body. Relax all the muscles from the feet all the way up to the crown of the head. Release the tension or tightness. thoughts, worries, anxieties. Imagine yourself in a place that brings you peace. Allow yourself just a few moments to completely relax. Deepen your breath. Then start moving your fingers, toes, and then the wrists and the ankles. When you're ready, bending both knees and rolling onto your right side in a fetal position. Taking a few breaths in. Using your left hand to support you, then pushing yourself back up to your seated position. And keeping the body relaxed and the eyes closed for another moment. Focus on the intention that you set at the beginning of the practice. And then taking one more deep cleansing breath. Nice big inhale and exhale it all out. Go ahead and lift your head and open your eyes. Thank you all so much for joining.